Have you ever been drafting an arena and wanted to know what are the most successful card or color combinations out there in this particular draft? Or what does a winning draft deck look like? Or what cards are the most popular and what ones are being selected? Well, I think I have the tool just for you. I found out that Untapped.gg has released a new set of data specifically built around the limited format. And if you've ever caught one of my live streams at shameless plug, twitch.tv/halfpump, I stream Monday through Thursday from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern time. You'll know that I have the Untapped.gg plugin where you can actually hover over my cards and get a blown up view of that card and see what it looks like or see all the details of the card. You also see that during the draft process, it likes to point out what are the really powerful cards, or if you start to get into the draft, it'll start to identify cards that would be strong in combination with the cards that you've already selected. So it's a powerful tool that I appreciate it. And hashtag not sponsored. This is not an ad by them. It's just a tool I really enjoy. But if they do want to sponsor, feel free to reach out to me. But I'd love to kind of go over the new feature sets that are found in this particular section, because I'm really kind of geeked about it. I'm a big numbers guy. I love looking at the data, especially when it comes to Magic, and figure out what the most optimal play is. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in to this new feature. So if you go to mtga.untapped.gg, that will bring you specifically to the MTG Arena section, and then they make it nice and obvious. Right here at the top, you'll see limited with a big new sign. If we click on that, the first thing that we are brought to is the tier list for the colors. And if this is your first time drafting, or if you've never drafted before, I think Bloomburrow is one of the easiest ones to get into drafting. They made it very archetype focused. So you know, if I'm drafting white, green, I'm drafting rabbits. So I should be on the lookout for rabbits. Or if I'm drafting black, green, I'm looking for squirrels. Or black, red, I'm looking for lizards. Or white, black, I'm looking for bats. Right? So those are actually the top 4 decks here in the A tier. You'll see win rates if you hover over them at 54.5 for rabbits, 54.6 for the squirrels, 54.1 for the lizards, and 54.2 for the Orzhov or bats here. And you'll also see 6+ wins, what that percentage chance is for the 6+ wins. You also see a popularity number, so how many people are actually selecting those colors, and even things like the most popular cards that you'll see. So if we hover over this one, Intrepid Rabbit, you get some cool gameplay stats like in-hand win rate, 56.5%, in opening hand win rate, 55.6%, played win rate, total games, draft stats. But you may go, hey, Brian, where do they get this tier list? Is this subjective? No, this is where it becomes really fun. If we go down to the bottom, this is actually all statistics based. So if it is an A tier color combination, then the color combinations with 6+ wins within 1 standard deviation of the best archetype is rated as A. If it's B tier, it's color combinations with 6+ wins better than or equal to the average. So B is good. B is average. C tier is color combinations with 6+ wins worse than average and within 1 standard deviation of the best archetype in this tier. And then D tier is color combinations with 6+ wins worse than 1 standard deviation from the best tier C archetype. So for those of you who don't remember statistics class, I made this a little bit easier for you. Here's what a standard deviation is. So if we're talking about the mean or the best deck, it would be over here on the right-hand side. But a standard deviation is this change from mean, or this chunk from mean. So B is average. So that would be sort of the middle here. A is going to be 1 standard deviation above B. And then C is 1 standard deviation down from B. And then D was another standard deviation down from C. So you really kind of want to stay on that upper end of the of this bell curve here when looking at your drafts. And what's like kind of jumps out at me right off the bat here is 3-color don't even get rated. There are some success with 3-color if we look at Sultai, but Sultai, the reason for that is one of the strongest colors is squirrels, and this is basically squirrels with a splash of blue. Same thing that you see here with Abzan is it's basically squirrels again with a splash of white, or the other part of that is it could be bats with a splash of green. So those 2 color, well, actually this one is like a triple threat. So you could have bats, you could have squirrels, and then you could have rabbits all in that mix. And then when we get down into Bant, that's really funny because it's basically rabbits with a splash of blue, because you'll notice that blue is not even in A tier. So this is a ton of information. You can really kind of peel into it. You can see the granular information about the cards and win rates and some really interesting things about that information. So like Ravine Raider in opening hand win rate, 56.3. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I highly encourage you. You can click into them, really see some example decks. So this is the latest trophy deck. We'll actually look at trophy decks here in just a second. You can also narrow this information, so we can go everything from Premier Draft to Traditional Draft, which is a best of 3. You'll then see that Squirrels are definitely at the top, 64.2% win rate if you're playing best of 3, 62 for Rabbits, and 62 for Bats. So it gives you a lot of really cool information. We could do bot drafts and see what the rates are again. This one's actually interesting. Bot draft for Bloomburrow is Gruul actually works better. So that's raccoons, and raccoons are pretty strong. If we did Premier Draft, you'll see that Gruul is still a B tier, so it's not bad, but for it to be on the top in quick draft is really interesting. Another thing you can do too is really change your filter. So if you're a gold player trying to make it up into Mythic, I can do gold to Mythic and apply filter and see how this information changes. So if I go back here to Premier Draft, Rabbits are still going to be on the top, and the 6+ win rate percentage changes on those as well, moving up from sort of that, what was it, the 15, 16%. So if we could do the full thing, bronze to apply filter, 18% to the mid 19%. So it does change. It is really relevant information. You can really play around with this. This can help you target in your drafts a little bit better, give you some focus on what's actually successful. And the really cool thing, too, to think about if you're trying to translate arena draft to paper draft is people are just getting way, 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 way more repetitions in arena because you can just go back to back to back to back to back to back to back drafts, where in person you sit down and you do one draft. So there's just so much more data being collected here that you're seeing it at a broader view of like what is actually successful. So I know if I'm going to go to my in-paper draft tomorrow, which I actually am, I'm going to really be looking at rabbits. I'm going to be really looking at squirrels. I'm really going to be looking at lizards, and I'm really going to be looking at bats. Like those are the ones I'm really trying to target. So you go, all right, that's really cool information about colors. So what do some of these decks look like? Well, in this next section, the trophy decks section, you can see some examples of some recent 7-win runs in the game. So you can see this is an Orzhov deck. What did they draft? And this is a really cool feature. You can view the draft replay. So you can see what was selected based off of pack 1, pick 1, pack 1, pick 2, pack 1, pick 3, etc. So you can see what the decisions were made by this specific person and what the cards to compare it against were and why they selected a specific card over other cards that were in the deck. So you can really break that down. Again, super cool, big numbers nerd thing going on. I mean, like, who had 7-0 wins? So we got again, we got bats, we got squirrels, we got lizards, we got frogs. Frogs, there we go. That's a B tier deck. Got a 7-0. So it's not to say B tier is out for any reason, but you're seeing the numbers are really skewed towards the ones that are in the A tier as far as who's getting those 7-0 wins. Another really cool thing is the card ratings tab. This will show you S tier cards versus A plus tier cards. So these are your bombs. These are the ones that you're really looking to draft first, snag them, try to build your decks around these cards. So things like Sword of Fire and Ice, Dream Dew Entrancer, Valley Quest Caller, and Season of the Lost are S tier cards. So definitely ones you're going to want to snag. And then you can go down the list. What's your A plus tier, A tier, A minus tier, so on and so forth. So this can really kind of help you identify the bombs in the set, which cards I should be looking for. There is an advanced view here, so you can see things like in-hand win rate, an opening hand win rate, win rate change on draw. So that's the win rate difference between games where the card was drawn and the games where it wasn't, value shown in percentage points. So you definitely want to draw it to increase your win rate. Played win rate, included win rate, and then total games. So like, again, going back to stats, like what is a good number of to have in your sample size? And these are healthy numbers for sample size. So this is really, really, really good information when considering what you're going to draft. So I highly recommend that if you haven't done so, if you're not using it and you're new to draft, Untapped.gg, again, not sponsored by them. I just get really geeked out by the numbers and the tools. It's helped me learn how to draft better. I'm still not great. I would say I'm maybe slightly above average drafter. Enough so that I think I can get mythic this particular season. But the thing of it is, I'm using this tool to help me quickly identify cards. What are the good cards? What ones should I be looking out for? This is helping me structure which color combinations or archetypes are going to be the best based on the numbers themselves. So now I know when I'm in-person drafts exactly what I should be looking for and which ones are really good to look at and consider for my deck that I'm building on the fly. So it's something I think is really cool. And I really wanted to kind of review this and share this with you. There are a bunch of other information here for constructed. So I am in a paid account with Untapped, and I do use this for things like standard as well. I'm not going to go into deep overview like I did with the limited, but it's not just a good drafting tool. It's also good for figuring out, okay, what are the top decks right now in standard for players. So these are the numbers for bronze to mythic. I'm currently a platinum player, and I'm looking at how do I get from platinum to mythic. All right, what are the top decks in that space? I'm looking at standard best of one, and right now it looks like Necromancer is one of the best ones. Win rates today, mono red aggro. That's one I commonly play. But what if I wanted to do best of three? How does that change? Okay, Rakdos lizards, interesting. 5-color domain, interesting, right? So there's a lot of information here that you can use to build your decks. Oh, I should also say, it's not just standard. I'm looking at standard, but if you want Explorer, Alchemy, Historic, Timeless, or Brawl, you're going to get all that information as well. Again, not sponsored, not an ad. I'm just really excited about the numbers and all the tools that are available to like figure this out. I love this stuff. I get really geeked out by numbers. It's how I decided what deck I'm going to play. I want to go for the modern RCQs that are going on. I looked at a bunch of the numbers, and obviously Bant Nadu is really popular, but I was like, that's probably going to get banned. So what's my next favorite one based on some of the numbers? And I think the averages are really in favor of things like Black Necro Dominance, Boros Energy, Mardu Energy. So I went that route for selecting my modern deck. But all in all, I think some really cool tools in untapped.gg. I'll leave a link below. I don't think they have an affiliate link or anything like that, but if they do have an affiliate link, it might be an affiliate link below. But I definitely encourage you to check it out. It has a lot of free tools. It does have a premium tier that you can pay into to give you more information and go deeper into the tool. But I was really excited when they released that particular feature because I've been doing so much draft lately, and I'm really focused on draft for my path to pro sort of journey that I'm on. If you're new here, I'm trying to qualify for the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour. I'm not foolish enough to think I could win a pro tour, but I think it's a really cool thing if I could qualify for one, and that involves a lot of skill sets, things like constructed. I need to be good at standard, modern, pioneer, things like drafting, which is probably my weakest skill set, needs a lot of work as well. And so I'm doing as much drafting as I possibly can on Arena to get practice in the current set, doing as much as I can in person. And having tools like this was super helpful and really kind of scratches my number nerd aspect. So if you enjoyed a video like this, you want to get more Magic the Gathering content, get my Bronze to Mythic playthroughs, news, unboxings. I'll be attending in-person Magic events and conventions. If you want more coverage of that information, more of me, feel free to hit that like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me if you're going to use this tool. Tell me if this was helpful. Go install it. See if it works for you. And then if you want to follow along on this path to pro that I'm on, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be kind of documenting the journey on Instagram, chatting with folks on Twitter. I'm going to be going to MagicCon this year, so I'm going to be covering a lot of information there, and then just kind of more of like the day in the life grind of trying to become a pro player. So until next time, we'll see you at the table.